Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Your brother Najib here with Uthman. The Deen Love Brothers, right? Creating you some type of essential that can create a better sense of Deen love, because that's the source of life, right?
Absolutely.
So inshallah today we're going to continue our discrimination series, right? Now we're talking about discrimination against our revert brothers and sisters, right? People who have done so much, went through so much to discover Islam, and when they become Muslims, their fellow Muslim brethren are looking down upon them, treating them differently, and making them feel like they're out of place when they come to community gatherings, the masajid, family gatherings. I mean, they're already going through so much in their lives from so many different angles, you know what I mean? And it's really, really sad that they can't find a lot of support within the Muslim community. Athman, what are your thoughts on that, huh?
إن الحمد لله له الحمد الحسن وثناء الجميل وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له يقول الحق وهو يهدي سبيل وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. I think that this one here is very critical, very sensitive topic, something we can't understand.
Yeah.
We'll never understand it, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave us the ni'mah of being born as Muslims. You know, we didn't have to go through the dramatic shift, of whole, ways of life, systematic way of life, the way of thinking, and your family being against you, right? Many times, these are the things that revert brothers and sisters, they go through, right? And on top of that, they come to the masajid after taking the shahada. The shahada, when they take the shahada the first time, it is like, wow, they're getting so much love, and everybody's taking care of hugs everywhere, and
presents,
all these advices, and come call me and this, and then what happens after that? It's like you don't even know these people anymore, right? They come to the masajid, people don't even look at them right. It's like, what do you want here? Don't you remember me? I'm the one that gave shahada. I became Muslim. Oh yeah. You should call someone to help you out before you come here. We can't, And when they're praying salat, after they're done, they get admonished because they don't know how to pray, right? And they're told, brother, you're not supposed to be. He just took shahada. She just took shahada, And we're making it much harder. Their lives are mushkila, right? Already as it is, and why should we be even more of a problem for them than what's already going on? It is inexcusable. Yeah. Right. And again, people always quote, this is fastest growing religion, and Muslims, we're good at selling the Deen. Yeah. To people on the corners, in da'wah groups. Come, it sounds great and beautiful, right? But the things that we can't answer is about how we behave. Right? We can't answer about things like that. We could talk about why the age of Aisha. We can give you the hikmah of the Prophet ﷺ being given the wahi at 40 years old. Why many wives. All these things we can answer, and we have nice scientific answers. But one thing we can't answer is our behavior. That's the reality.
It's sometimes it's too realistic, and the amount of pain that our brothers really go through, and sisters who come to Islam, and they feel like they're outsiders. And this is why we really had to do this level of discrimination series on many different categories, because people are akhlaqiyat and are etiquettes. This is what happens when you speak 4 languages, right?
Yep, absolutely.
The last one is weak. Three essentially.
3.
But how we conduct ourselves is very, very important. You see people who come to Islam and leave Islam because of Muslims.
Almost instantaneously.
It's crazy. It's crazy. All because we treat them like they're an outsider, or we belittle them, or this is something you should never do to anybody, but doing it to a person who's, who's new to the Deen, new to Islam, new to being a Muslim, new to the community, new to this way of life, new to living his old life. How are you gonna push that person, right? There There are people who are worshiping Allah on edge. If you push them, just even the tightest of bit, that person is gone. So you can't do these things. You gotta know how to navigate through. You know, sadly, many of us were not trained to have, you know, good akhlaq in regards to dealing with other people. We know how to deal with people who are maybe only our family members or people who we work with. But
Absolutely.
I think, what do you think? Why do we treat people this way now? What do you think?
Wallahi, subhanallah, it's a lot of components.
Yeah.
You're looking at, you know, the Muslims already, they have their own problems. Okay, culturally, we have our own problems. The way the Muslims behave with each other already is kind of like, you know, everybody is going with themselves into different groups. The Prophet ﷺ, he said that al-arwah, the souls, the souls are like soldiers. They go with each other, right? They're always going with each other in packs, and they gravitate towards the same thing. Okay, and this is the way it is. The Pakistani Muslims are with the Pakistanis. The Somali Muslims are with the Somalis. The Arabs are with the Arabs. And then even with the Arabs, you have the Palestinians with the Palestinians. You have the Iraqis with the Iraqis. Everybody is
division,
just their own thing. So when the Muslim comes already, all of these other groups, they kind of don't even, they're not even like, they don't.
Where do I fit?
Right? So then he comes in, and he's like, and then they're like looking this guy up and down like, okay, so what do you want? And he's given a hard time because he doesn't speak the language. He doesn't. He's not a part of the culture. He's probably not a part of the tribe. Most likely not a part of the tribe, right? So then, such individuals, that's a 3-strike. That's a 3-strike rule. You're not, and then you don't. You're looked down upon. The guy is probably white or he's an African American. We know that African Americans get it much worse, right, than white people. Okay, when we have white reverts that come in, they're treated with care and for the most part. But then African Americans is just like, okay, and this is why there's this huge polarization when it comes to da'wah and reverts that are coming in, right? They experience so much pain and so much ill will towards them that they end up leaving the deen. For the weak ones, they end up leaving, and the ones that they end up staying, they start to develop their own sort of tribalism and nationalism towards other people. Yeah,
it's very, very sad because this way of thinking, I think the source of the issue is we don't understand Islam properly.
Yep.
Right? Many Muslims in reality are not connected to Islam the way they should be. So in return, what happens is harm. Right? Ignorance creates no solution.
Absolutely.
And people beyond people, it's going to just create harm after harm. And so the reason why we treat these people differently, one of the greatest components, besides all of these things that are against them already by default because they're so different from the community at large, is because people are ignorant of Islam. Right? When if they would have known this person has actually more of a right upon you than already a Muslim that has it going easy. This person needs education. They need belonging. They need involvement. They need to be treated equally like everybody else.
Yeah.
And so for you to such a vulnerable person in such a tough situation, when you can treat them like an outsider, I mean, what do you think is going to happen? That's why a lot of reverts actually they struggle for years. If you talk to any revert person, they struggle. When they come after that, they struggle for years. Absolutely. Until they find out, until they learn how to separate between the Muslims and Islam.
Yep.
That's the reality. Yep. Many of my revert friends that I have, they struggled until they learned how to separate between Islam and Muslims. Yep. That's really sad. Because if they keep thinking that Islam are the Muslims, and like a perfect image of Islam are the Muslims, no. They're going to have it really tough. And some reverts, they never come back from these tough years.
Yeah. And a lot of the times, these are the sort of, it's a natural thing to make these sort of association and connections that Islam is a beautiful deen, so the Muslims should also be behaving beautifully, right?
Yeah.
So, and many times that's not the case. And we're not saying that the Muslims are all bad.
No.
That's not what we're saying. But we're saying that there may be pockets of people, in the community that have a sort of ignorant toward behavior, right, when it comes to dealing with these new Muslims. And it's very unfortunate because they say the first impression is the only impression, right?
Yeah.
If the Muslim takes that, or a new Muslim takes that, then he may have ill will towards the deen.
Yeah.
So what have you done in that situation?
Some of the best Revert brothers and sisters that I know had a great experience with a group of brothers and sisters who took care of them very well.
Yep.
Gave them a bond,
Yep.
gave them a place to live.
Yep.
Or whatever it might be that they needed, they took care of them fully. It was education they taught them. They were patient with the person. I was at a masjid, right? Oh my God, this day I was about to explode at this brother, man. A brother that is a very good friend of mine now became a Muslim that day, right? I didn't know him till that. I met him that day.
Yeah.
Right? Young brother. He became a Muslim, and you know what happens when somebody takes the shahada, right? Everybody jumps on him. Yeah. And then one brother came, who was right after Salatul Dhuhr, right? One brother came, and he came to the brother. Oh, hey, what's your name now? Oh my God.
That one is wild.
He said, yeah, hey, what's your new name?
It happens a lot.
I was like, what?
Change your name. Like,
The brother's like, the new brother is like, what? My name is, he said his own name. I don't want to say his name right now, but he's like, my name is so-and-so. He's like, no. Your new Muslim name. I was about to go crazy on this guy. I'm there. I'm like, I don't even remember what I did. I got so angry. I'm like, chill, man. Relax, man. Calm down. If he wasn't in the masjid, I would have body slammed that guy, man. How do you do such a thing to somebody like that?
Yeah.
The brother just became a Muslim.
Yeah.
Whether he wants to change his name or not, that's his personal choice.
Absolutely.
How is that relevant at this time?
And this is what it comes into, is the ignorance. Right?
Exactly.
Muslims think that, these new Muslims, they must become Sahaba right away.
Immediately.
Overnight. If they don't, brother, your trousers above your ankles. Brother, your name. Brother, your hair. You may have to get a haircut. I know a guy. Brother, your beard. You need to grow your beard. The shaving stuff, you got to cut it out. Brother, your thobe. You need to wear a thobe. No. This is too much. This is not Islam. Islam is not harshness.
Yeah.
Right? And many of us, we look at these issues and we think that a person who becomes Muslim must right away do all these things, right?
No way.
And many of these he doesn't even have to do. Wear a thobe. You don't have to change your name, right? You don't have to do a lot of these things, but because of the ignorance of some of the Muslims today, they don't know, what are the most important things for a new Muslim to know is about how to believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, right? All those 5 pillars of Islam.
Then salah. So many different things have to happen.
Saum. The most important things, right? Salah mean the highest of priorities. Teaching a person how to pray, right? Quran. All these things. Then you want to talk about his name and his beard and his mustache and his clothing. Our priorities are so messed up. And I think also a second component of why we Muslims, we behave this way is because we have a lot of pride in where we come from, right? And we believe, we may not say it, but we believe that our people are the best. Like, we are just the best. And many people just feel like that. This is the way we look at it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he one thing that's beautiful about the Quran is it gives you a reality check. It smashes your ego. Allah says in the Quran, Surah Al-Rum, He says, وَمِنْ آيَاتِهِ خَلْقُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَاخْتِلَافُ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ وَأَلْوَانِكُمْ إِنَّ فِي ذَلِكَ لَآيَاتٍ لِلْعَالِمِينَ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, and from the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is that He's created you with different languages, tongues, with different skin colors, complexion, right? He created the heavens and the earth. all these things, right? And these are the signs, for the world, for all of creation, right? So Allah puts us in check. It's not about where you're from. You're not a chosen people, okay? We are not privileged that way. Everybody is the same in humanity, right? There's faith in humanity. There's faith, brothers in faith and brothers in humanity. Brothers in faith, everyone. Allah, He created them, right? Or brothers in humanity is everyone. Allah created them. Brothers in faith, these are what makes that Pakistani brother, your brother, is the faith. And what makes a Hindu person not your brother in faith is the faith. This is what distinguishes you two, right? So these are things that we all need to realize, and we need to take on board.
Yeah.
If we're going to actually push this community forward.
Yeah, really. And shout out to the Revert brothers and sisters, man. Wallah, we love you guys because
some of
you guys are stronger than any one of us because of what you go through in life. You are, they are closer to us than the Sahaba, because the Sahaba used to be, they had a life where they were not Muslim and then they became Muslims,
Absolutely.
Right? Our Revert brothers and sisters are really, they're on that path, that sunnah, that way of life. And sometimes the best Muslims are the Revert brothers and sisters, right? You see somebody who's a Muslim 40 years and a person was a Muslim 1 year or even 6 months, and he knows way more than the 40-year-old one. Ajib, subhanallah,
very
right?
sad,
when these people treat you differently, right? It's because they have weak iman and weak knowledge. So that creates a weak status, weak
mindset.
thinking, weak mindset. And so don't ever take them really serious and look into the Quran and the Sunnah. Let that be your belonging, your bond. If you don't find it in the community that you live in, if you don't find it in the brothers and the sisters that are surrounding you, we hope you do. And you know what? Don't give up. If you can't find one person's not good enough to you, then go to another person. If this masjid didn't treat you well, go to another masjid. That happens to all of us.
Yeah.
There are masajid where I don't go, where I don't feel comfort.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I go to a different masjid, I'm like, this is the best place ever. Like, this is the place for me. So people think that every masjid should be for them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it should be. But if it's not, go to the next best thing.
Yeah.
And inshallah, you'll find something better and greater. And you know what I mean? Will take you farther in life. But don't let the shaitan take you down. And we don't want to give any opportunity for any of our brothers or sisters for the shaitan to take them down at all.
Absolutely.
Right? So, وَكُونُوا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ إِخْوَانًا. We have to be brothers, right? As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, brothers and sisters in bond, that as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to be. This is the way of life. إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Whether the mu'min came first or he came last, we all have that bond. Al-mu'minu, famous hadith, لِلْمُؤْمِنِ كَالْبُنْيَان. The Prophet ﷺ says that a mu'min to another mu'min is like kalbunyan, is like a brick wall. No one should come through you to get to your brother, right? So what we have to do is do our best to whatever you have to do. If you have to go out of your way, whenever you see a Revert brother or sister, give them a big hug. Brothers and brothers, sisters,
Welcome
okay?
them.
Welcome them. Give them, stay and check on them. Provide them resources. If you just became a Muslim and you live in a community where there is no resources for you to grow and learn, the best advice I can give you, or we can give you, is try to find a better community, because you don't want to be there, because if you're not going up, you're going down.
Yeah.
It's just the equation to life. So if you did become a Muslim right now, right, and this video just came up out of nowhere, what you need to do is, we advise you to be patient, to be strong, don't give up until you find the right people in your life, right?
Absolutely.
And don't give up on your deen because of how other people treated you. That we have to advise you on. I mean, for somebody to treat you bad is wrong, right? But just because of that, don't let that be the reason why you leave the deen. You know what I mean? You have to be much stronger than that. And much firmer, inshallah. And if you need the tools, you need to seek knowledge and learn the deen. If you can't find it where you live, find a different place. Absolutely. Most of the Revert brothers who are really strong, who are better than all of us, is because they follow that process. They never gave up when no one was there to support them. They kept pushing, they kept learning, they kept advancing, they focused on their relationship with Allah, because Allah will never disappoint you.
Absolutely.
But us, we're humans. We can make mistakes. Your brothers and sisters, we make mistakes all the time.
It happens.
There are especially sensitive moments where a referred brother or sister might feel really, really down and discriminated against. And this is when it comes to marriage. Really, this is huge. Usually in marriage, reverend brothers and sisters, this is where they feel the most discrimination, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Against them, in which families don't accept them just because they're different from, because they're different from majority of the Muslim communities, right? Maybe let's say you have a big, Pakistani Muslim community, since we're picking on the Pakistani Muslim community today.
Or we love our Pakistani brothers.
We love you guys, right? So, I mean, you have a huge population of Muslims, mashallah. We love you guys, right? Or let's a huge African Muslim population, or a huge Arab Muslim population, and a revered brother or sister is like, I know a sister from, Cuba, right? She's from Cuba and she's a Muslim, and imagine when she is coming into a family of whether they're Africans or Arabs or Asians or Europeans or a different family, that if she wants to marry a brother who's, let's say a Somali, a young brother like if she wants to marry a brother from a certain nationality and she's not from that nationality, it might be a little bit, it might be tough, and they're discriminated against. What are your thoughts on that?
Sad, very sad, and it happens. And this is probably like a terrible experience for a revert Muslim brother or sister that is, that they experience in one of the most beautiful moments or of life, where individuals do become married, they get married, have unions, right, for the rest of their life, and they are deprived of that because of the backwardness of Muslims, who come from cultural areas to the States and the West in general. So when these individuals, they get in contact with Islam, it's beautiful, everything is nice. Now they want to get married. Everybody looks the other way, like, who's giving? Right? And we just think about it, how harsh and rough that person's life would be. They go through the same issues that we go through. They go through the same issues that the youth go through in terms of trials and tribulations, fitna, right? And there's a lot of things that are calling them to do haram. They go through those things, and they want to sanctify and protect their deen and their iman, and our ignorance becomes a stumbling block for these individuals. Wa iyadu billah. And it's a really, really sad case, but I think the one thing that will change all of this is, especially for the younger generation, is to learn about their deen and to not compromise it, even with their parents. Sometimes you have to put your foot down in a respectful way with your parents and let them know, look, Baba, Mama, I love you, but this decision here, with Allah, and Allah is not correct, okay? But these sort of things, it requires hikmah and knowledge. So in order for you to attain those with the help and pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is to go and seek it, right, with sincerity, because establishing families and all of these things, you need the knowledge and you need the hikmah, and it all starts in marriage. So I would encourage and advise our young brothers and sisters to go and seek that knowledge, right? That way it will minimize a lot of these sort of ignorant moments and experiences, inshallah.
Very, very sad, but don't ever lose hope, and no matter what, even within cultures, people refuse each other in marriage. It's not just just between from a revert to a born Muslim families. It's not like that. Sometimes Uthman could be denied marriage. Sometimes I could be denied. It could happen to anybody. So
it happens.
Yeah, right? Don't let the shaitan get to you, inshallah. And if it does, don't worry. What was meant for you will never miss you. So inshallah, qadar Allah. And we advise you guys to the Muslims in general, to everybody, to be the best.
Ourselves
And
as well.
all of us, we do this to remind ourselves.
Absolutely.
فَإِنَّ الذِّكْرَ تَنْفَعُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. You know, it's this reminder, it has to benefit us first before it reaches you guys, so that we reflect on what we're saying and definitely practice it also. So inshallah ta'ala, we on this discrimination series, the point is to realize some of these key things and key issues that sometimes we do it without even noticing it. But in reality, let's be good to one another, and that is the recommended way to get into Jannah, to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to be a better Muslim, and to leave a better impact into this world and into the next. So inshallah, we leave you with these words. And to all of our Revert brothers and sisters, we love you guys. Don't lose hope. Stay strong. Stay together, and stay within the community as much.
SubhanAllah. Just a small thing I want to add is, brothers and sisters, reverts who are actually serious, we do have like a small accommodation for reverts in Masjid Da'wah. Come through. We do have dedicated young brothers and students of knowledge there who are willing to help out in your journey in the Deen, and learning about your way of life, this new beautiful way of life that you have joined in. And if you kind of fell off the path for a while because nobody was there to support you, still come through. You're welcome. Masjid Da'wah is on University Avenue 478, University Avenue West, St. Paul.
Yeah, that's if you live in Minneapolis, right?
St. Paul.
Or St. Paul. The metro area. But if you live in different states or different country or something, find the nearest best place for you to study, and don't give up.
Absolutely.
Right? The day you give up, the day you let the shaitan win, and you don't want to be in that situation, inshallah. And Muslims in general, we do not want to discriminate against one another, right? Uthman is... Alright, let's never ever discriminate. I was going to say something about that, but I skipped it, you know what I mean? I didn't want to do it that way.
He'll tell me after.
Yeah. Alright.
بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن بإسلامي وإيماني أضاء الكون وزمن